webinar, which I call the Wonder Woman in You. And Divya, let me know like whether it's apt for me to get started, or you want to give it a minute for a few more participants to come through. I see while you were talking, few participants are just entering the room.
I think you can start, Sriram. They will keep joining that. You can, so that we'll get some time for the question and answer sessions too.
Okay, excellent. I think, thank you. Thanks, Divya. And also the jobs for her team, right, to give me this opportunity to engage with the Wonder Woman in this webinar. And it was so interesting, when Divya asked me to do this webinar, I was thinking, what should be the name for this webinar? I was fortunate to have a boss who is a woman leader. And there are also a few colleagues in my team who I've been addressing as Wonder Girls, right? And they've been a great source of, inspiration, and have surprised me time and again with their ability to create, strong impact through creativity, perseverance, and never say die attitude. And the best of it, they take challenges heads on and make it count. So while I was discussing my dilemma with them on the name of this webinar, it emerged that each one of us have the potential in us to be a Wonder Woman, maybe a Wonder Girl, or why not, like me, a Wonder Man. It's about us finding our calling and make it happen. So hence emerged the Wonder Woman in You. And I specifically stressed on the word in you, as that's what end of the day matters to each one of us, having our own journeys to traverse and may make choices, right, both in personal and professional life. So let's find the Wonder Woman in us. And maybe that's how the whole concept of the Wonder Woman came into play. And I'm sure some of you would have watched the movie Wonder Woman, and there is one more which is going to come in soon, right? And in this webinar, my intent is to actually make an attempt to provoke your thoughts via a structured approach, which may would encourage you to share your thoughts, ask questions in the chat window. Basis relevance, I will try and pick thoughts from there and share my perspective or enable thoughts from the group. Towards the end, in case I don't respond to your questions during the session, I will try and address it towards the end. So before we move ahead, I would also like to mention that the content of this webinar consists of my personal thoughts and experiences, and in no way represents any organization, including my current employer, Sapient. So let's get going. And a quick voice check before I go. Divya, are you able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So maybe basis my experience of working with a lot of women leaders, maybe the first and foremost question which I typically ask them to address is, ever thought of asking yourself this question, whom am I? What is my true identity, right? In my experience, as I said, of coaching and mentoring people, I realized helping the person see their inner self becomes a life-changing moment. So again, ever asked yourself this question, whom am I? And more so importantly, look at documenting the response to this question. This will help you carve out your own identity, personality, and goes a big way in determining the why, what, and how of your life. This would be a good start point for you to achieve success. Now, how shall I go about it? It's as simple as asking yourself few questions, and maybe Divya, if you could paste the questions in the chat window for people to relate to. But some questions which I would ask myself to know whom am I would be, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? What unique talents I bring onto the table? What are my strengths and some areas which I would like to improve? What unique skills I'm proud of? What are the achievements I'm most proud of? And finally, and the most important thing, what is your personal elevator speech? Right? If you were to describe yourself in 10 seconds to someone who could be your prospective employer, what kind of personal brand proposition you will leave him with so that he gets inspired by you, and that too in 10 seconds? Maybe that's the question, which you should try and answer. Right? And as I keep saying, each one of us is different, and so are our purpose, existence, and how we wish to lead life. So it becomes very important to recognize the uniqueness, and that may possibly guide you with the way ahead, so that you don't become one amongst many, but you become the one which you want to be. Right? This may sound academic. However, I'll strongly encourage each one of you to give it an attempt and see the magic. Most importantly, document whom am I, and you will notice, you will clarify so many things for yourself that will pave the way ahead for you. So with that, I'm leaving you with that thought, and we'll come back and keep asking this question during the course of this presentation. Let's now draw some inspiration. Do you recognize this person or this family? If yes, would you want to share your response in the chat window? Let me see who could guess or who recognizes this family. Excellent. That was a quick one. Vasanta and Arpita and Shweta says yes. Great. Yes. Maricom and her family, right? She had a twin and then a baby later, and that's her husband, Onkar, right? Why I'm trying to draw Maricom? Look at these two pictures, a family woman, but also a Olympics bronze medalist, right? And she won it in 2012 when she participated in Olympics, right? Besides that, she's a 5-time world amateur boxing champion and the only woman boxer to have won a medal in each of the 6 world championships. At one given point of time, she was 3rd in the world as far as boxing ratings are concerned. And you know what? She achieved all this while managing her family life as well. I don't know how many of you know, but her twins were born in between her prime career. And she actually fought back, came to fame, right? She went on to Olympics after her twins were born, right? And being a sports fanatic, I found the story of Maricom inspirational. I think it takes guts for a small-time Manipuri girl strewn in poverty and societal stigma towards boxing being a masculine sport to achieve what she had set her sight on. And of course, I salute her courage to fight against the odds to become the best boxer in the world. Com has battled far more than what we see her fight in the ring. I don't know how many of you know, she came from a very poor family where they were struggling to make ends meet, even having basic facility of being able to eat good food daily, right? So from struggling with poverty to play the multiple roles of a mother, a daughter, an elder sister to maybe 3 siblings, what she has achieved is amazing. And in her own words, she says, if I being a mother of 2 can win a medal, so can all. Take me as an example and don't give up. Isn't that great? And of course, I strongly urge you, I see some chat responses, but I strongly urge you, if you haven't read her biography called Unbreakable, do it. It tells you the story of a determined woman who was able to use her challenges as opportunities to pave her path ahead, right? So while it may sound inspirational, but let's unravel a bit in terms of what behaviors Maricom demonstrated which made her what she is today. And of course, these are some of my observations, but I would love to get views from the group. It seems some of you seems to have followed Maricom, so it would be interesting to get your thoughts as well. But let me give it a start. Maybe the first behavior when I read her biography and monitoring her, I realized she focused on her strengths. And how often do you say, I can't do this? What will happen if I fail? These negative thoughts at times become barriers to our progress. On the other hand, what Maricom did was focused on her strength. In the ring, often her opponents were stronger, but she always focused on what she is good at. She used her childhood days of ploughing in the farm, doing stuff which others could not even imagine at that age as strengths. And when she came to the ring, she used it to her advantage of having excellent stamina and power of ploughing, right? So that was the first one. The second one, which I thought was amazing, was always believe in yourself. When she became a parent of twins, it was felt that her career is over. And that's how, that too for a boxer, imagine. However, she battled against the odds, got her partner Ankur to support her, and bounced back to win the Olympics medal. Right? And that calls for some willpower and focus towards achieving one's dream. She was clear what she wanted to achieve. The third, be brave and take calculated risks. Who would have imagined that a girl from a Manipuri village has dreams of becoming a boxing champion and goes all out to achieve it despite of adversities, right? She had to hide her interest of boxing during initial days with her parents because they were not too keen for her to be going and fighting, right? However, she figured out ways to cajole them and reach where she wanted to. Excellent, yeah, Ruchi. Amazing. That was my observation as well. Good to see your contribution there. And then, of course, really inspirational, right? And she proved a point. She says a mother and a wife can also pursue her dreams, right? We often find women sacrificing their career for families. However, juggled all her struggles and emerged as a rock star mom and a wife and bagged the world championship not once but 6 times, right? And while doing all those things, she also ensured her family is taken care of and she is able to bring up her kids. Of course, she enabled support system and she inspired others to support her. So that's an amazing story. And maybe the next one, which is an action orientation, is about a determined, focused approach towards her goals, right? So she was able to set clear sight and direction towards her goals, right? Her determination helped her realize her dreams. She converted all issues and challenges to opportunities to make things happen for her. So that's clear-sightedness towards goal and dream of what she wanted to achieve. And maybe lastly, but not the least, is nothing comes without practice and hard work. She put the extraordinary effort to train herself. She had to leave her home, go to Imphal, work under a trainer whom she believed and had faith in, and did everything which made her a fighter what she is today. Right? And you can imagine all this. She came back into professional circuit within few years of delivering twins, and she continues to fight even after the third baby, right? So these were some of my initial observation of behaviors which Mary Kom demonstrated, which led to where she is, and there could be more, right? And I'll be happy if you want to share a few in the chat window if anyone of you wanted to share a bit more. Okay, great. Keep your pointers coming through, but I did see a few responses. So now you may want to reflect on some of the pointers which I gave and see how these behaviors applies in your own context. Yes, Ruchi, determination, hard work, perseverance, and see how you can relate it back to your own lives and see how you can apply some of these learnings, right? Is something which you may want to take inspiration from. Now let's give it some structural spiel. While if this is the story of Mary Kom, if we wanted to connect it with some actionable spiel of how she went about it, I call this something as a success wheel, right? And a success wheel is nothing but a growth model which consists of 3 constituents called as aspiration, ability, and opportunity, right? And when I say aspiration, it's the desire to achieve success in the chosen area. For example, right, I would like to be known as a leading executive coach. That's my desire, right? Or it can be a position like I would like to be the HR head of an organization. Or in a corporate setup, a simple aspiration could be I would like to get promoted. So the desire, the drive needs to be there, right? And it is essentially what I call the drive and passion to passion you exhibit towards your growth and outcomes, right? Then comes ability. It's about whether I have the right skills, knowledge, and attitude to achieve my aspiration. And then opportunity. Do I have enough opportunity, or would I be able to create enough opportunities to pursue my aspiration? And if I were to draw a parallel with Mary Com's story, aspiration would be Mary Com's goal to win the Olympic medal. Ability would be the number of hours she practiced sharpening her boxing skill. And opportunity is for her to be selected to represent India at the Olympics. So put yourself in that perspective. And you know what? In the absence of any of these elements, it becomes difficult for one to achieve success. So it is critical to focus on each element and have a strategy to address each one of them at all given points of time. We'll talk a bit more on how we can determine each of these elements, of course, in the upcoming slides. While we look at this, what I've also come to realize that while there are professional goals, there are other factors which play a key role in one's journey. And that would be the distractions which come along the way, both positive and negative, which one needs to balance. In this case, there would be a conflict at times between your professional needs and family situations. So maintaining a right balance is the key in line with your goals. So I'm sure you would have had multiple conversations on work-life balance. So I'm not going to look at those elements and have a conversation. Rather, I would restrict my focus on the success wheel and how you can leverage it. However, if you have questions, I think let's take it during the Q&A. Okay, so with that, let's delve a bit deep into aspiration, right? So what according to you constitutes aspiration? Please use the chat window, and it's good to hear some of your responses and we make it more engaging. So maybe I'll repeat the question. What according to you constitutes aspiration? Excellent, Shweta. Dreams, desires, and likings. Passion. Okay, great. Ambition. Excellent. Great. You actually stole all the stuff which I had to share, so I have nothing much to do here. But yeah, let me still go through it. Willpower. Amazing. Right? Yeah. The first and the foremost is to find your passion. Remember the questions you asked in the first slide. Whom am I? Right? And you'll get your answers. And if I take Mary Com's example, her passion could be Mary Com was passionate about boxing. I am passionate about developing people. So what's your passion statement? And once you have identified your passion, the next step is to be able to dream about it. Rather, I say dream big. Ask yourself a couple of questions. Divya, maybe you want to pose the questions there. What would it feel and look like if I were to achieve it? How would my life change for the good after this? How do I envision my life in 2, 5, and 10 years? I think it is highly important for you to have a dream which drives your passion, right? By the way, just having passion and dreaming about it won't help you achieve outcomes. What else do you think is critical to realize your aspiration? Why don't you use the chat window? Excellent. Sumanpreet already preempted. Continuously work towards it. Have a vision. What else? Okay. Let's see. You're bang on, right? But the way to look at it is you need to transform your dreams into actionable goals. And as it is said by Denzel Washington, those who watch, well, yeah, Ruchi, amazing. Madhu, very nice. Plan of action. How do we plan steps to achieve it? Exactly, right? And as Denzel Washington says, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So maybe roll back your own story and see, has it actually happened? Hey, I had great passion. I have a dream to make it happen. However, I did not take any steps. So it's important, of course, how hard work and dedication are the core, right? And thanks, Anu, for bringing that. So it is critical to convert your thoughts into specific steps, which is actionable, time bound, and has a measure of success. So what else do you think is critical? And something which I've seen we miss quite often. Any guesses? Yep. Correct, Somanpreet. It has to be a consistent approach even after realizing it. Yeah, it's ongoing because you keep raising the bar. Discipline to follow the plan. Discipline. Yes. You know, one element, and I'm going to put it here. Share your story and inspire others. Have you ever thought, right? While it is good to have your passion, dreams, and goals aligned, you work towards it. However, it won't be of any use if you don't share it with others to get inspired by your story and support you. Does it ring a bell? Have you been in a situation like this before, whereby you had done all the hard work? However, those who need to know don't have a clue. And think about it. So while there are a lot of factors which are internal to you, like Ashmit, Ruchi and others have written in the chat window, being committed, play it forward, at times you lack direction, all those are internal, right? If you need to let the external world know, whom am I, after doing all these things, and if I don't share, and share it in a way where it inspires others to make a note of you, then some of your efforts will lead to disappointment. So just think about it and see how you want to go. Yes, networking, right? There could be ways how you share your story and inspire others. Excellent. Now let's move on and look at ability. So again, a simple question to you all. What constitutes ability? What do you think? Okay, skill sets, perfect. Learning, okay. Perfect, yeah. And update. Yeah, you need to continue to learn and update yourself, right? Apply your learnings. Excellent. Now, there is one element which I've often seen while we do all these things, implementation of your ideas and everything. I think the first step, which I thought would be immensely helpful is being self-aware. Maybe asking yourself this question: how aware am I of myself and the environment around me? This is a great start point for you to get started on your development journey, and it will follow by learning new things, upgrading yourself, finding new ways to, engage, respond, so on and so forth. But being self-aware both on the functional side and also on the behavioral side. At times we overtly focus on functional elements, don't focus on me, myself, on my personality, the way I come across, the way I represent myself, which are key behavioral nuances. At times it pegs us back and we end up learning things which we are not able to apply. So again, just a thought. And you can ask yourself a very simple question. Maybe Divya, if you could post it in the screen. What are my strengths that I should leverage more, and few development areas that might pull me back? Think of ways how you can get this information. I've used things like a SWOT, which is strengths, weakness, opportunity, threat. And typically I've gone ahead and did a SWOT on myself where I write all these. I've also gone to maybe some of my colleagues from the past, current ones, few family members and friends, where I ask them this question, and you can Google SWOT and you will get a template from there. And it will give you a good perspective of what is your own perception of yourself and what others feel about you. And it's equally important to consider both and see what emerges as your SWOT. That's on the behavioral side. You could also go ahead and talk to people in your area of interest, which I call it as an interest interview through LinkedIn and other sources, figure out how close or far away from the skills needed for the interest areas before you jump in to start building your capability there. And of course, there are tons of psychometrics and behavioral tools available, things like learning style quotient, my emotional intelligence, so on and so forth. At times we miss these elements, but these become critical when you need to present yourself for an opportunity or make some things happen. So go for it. And it is as simple as searching the internet, maybe for top skills in your area of interest. And once you are self-aware, then it's about some action on the area of ability, which some of you had nicely called out here, is about building knowledge, skills, and attitude, and that's what ability constitutes of, right? And let me take one example. Give me an answer in yes or no. Have you been to a fine dining restaurant with your family ever, where it has a nice ambience and everything? I see yes, 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 good. All of us like having fun, and we want to go to a fine dining restaurant. Great. Maybe the next question for all of you, in a fine dining restaurant, what do you think is the role of a waiter? What does he do? For example, he collects orders. What else does he do? Serve the clients. Okay. Takes orders, serve the clients. Okay. Customer satisfaction. Talk about the role of a waiter. What does he do? Serves food, brings the bill, takes the bill, so on and so forth, right? And of course, the list may continue. Now, imagine that you go to a fine dining restaurant which has become your favorite restaurant because of the waiter. Okay, what do you think the waiter does which makes you wanting to go to that restaurant again and again, and you refer that restaurant to 3 or 4 more people? What does the waiter demonstrate? Gives smile and good service, get special attention. One of the fine dining restaurants which I go to and I love is they make special arrangements for my kid and they take care of it. The moment I go there, they do it. Makes our experience more comfortable. Courteous behavior. Excellent. So if you were to put all this in the knowledge, attitude, and skills bucket, knowledge is the knowledge of the role which the waiter had to play, which is about doing the routine stuff. So he had a job description. He was supposed to execute that job description. The skills he demonstrated, was the experience he gave to you, which made you feel, wow, I would want to go back here and I will recommend to others, which is the way he exhibited. And the attitude is the intent to serve. So when it comes to ability, you need to have the knowledge, but you need to also build on your skills and show the attitude which put together builds your capability. And I leave you with that thought that in your own lives at this moment, when you're looking at building your capability, how can you use this example of a waiter in a fine dining to carve your own story? What matters is a combination of all these 3 things which will attribute to success in your capability. Okay. Finally, as done for aspiration, you need to figure out ways of sharing your credentials in a way your prospective employer or whomsoever you want to share would like to see and get inspired by them. Right? Yeah, great. I think I have a comment there from Sumanpreet. Good at functional but lacks behavioral. And as I said, all of them are equally important. Right? Great point, Suman. But even more important, which I keep saying, we don't share it in a way at times which will make the other person get to know about you a bit more and rather get inspired. Get the word inspire into your system, and you will notice that you will make headway, right? So go ahead and share. And here is where the relevance of certification, endorsement, testimonials, all those come into play. But you need to time it, customize it to make it work for you. And maybe the last of the success wheel element, if we move in there, is opportunity. So any initial thoughts? What will constitute opportunity? Okay, so let me give it a start this time. See and be seen, right? Look at the picture. The cyclist is able to see at the same point of time. He's also showing others that I'm riding, watch me, right? Yeah, connections. So in the corporate context, right, the first element is for you to spot the right opportunity and also get your prospective employer to notice you. So how do you think you can go about it? Maybe here are some of my ideas, and I would want some of you to share, right? Get your resumes some creative flavor. Look at key pointers that employers are looking for and make them more visible. I've seen folks publishing their profile like as a story, a YouTube video, and whatnot, right? So it's important exactly to do things differently to impress upon your prospective employers, but at the same point of time, the messaging is customized to make it relevant. And most importantly, right, get the spotlight on you, right? Figure out ways to differentiate yourself, which I think Anu, you rightly pointed out, right? What specific value you bring onto the table. I'll go to the extent of, targeting prospective employers and customize my spotlight to suit their needs. For example, right, in this forum, if I were to represent myself, I'll say, I'm a life coach with proven expertise to transform life of women wanting to rejoin work after a career break. How does it sound? Right? I may be a general coach, but in forums, I will represent myself differently, which will create an impression on my audience, right? So to get noticed, you need to be different and inspiring enough. I think that's the key. And as you would have realized by now, the last box, which I keep sharing, is always about sharing your story and inspiring others. To me, this is the single most derailer at times in most cases, where people don't share the good work they have done. By now, I hope you would have memorized this and would not miss the element of conveying your story in an inspiring manner. So, if you were able to take action on each element of success wheel, you would have made a significant headway. So, aspire to grow, be more self-aware, build capability, and of course, seize on opportunities. Isn't it simple? Yes, maybe. However, it doesn't turn out to be like this always, right? So if you were to make it happen, what do you think are some behaviors that you need to demonstrate, right? Maybe a little bit from the Mary Kom story, right? And let's take a look at it, right? And I'm not going to talk through all these, but yeah, this is a good list, and maybe I call them the 8 success behaviors. There could be 10, 20, 50, but these I found to be very relevant. So make a plan and set goals. Get as much education and training as you can, but become self-aware first. Have confidence and believe that you will be successful professionally. So you need to hit your belief system so hard that make yourself believe that you can achieve those outcomes, and be passionate about what you do. So find your passion, and that's the first step. And that's where you need to ask yourself, who am I? And don't be afraid to take risks. Failures can be converted into opportunities pretty soon. And you've seen that from the Mary Kom story. And be an effective communicator, which is in the last 3 slides, my last box, which says inspire others. Create a personal brand for yourself and have your elevator speech ready, right? And of course, foster good working relationships. I think we all are social beings. It's important for us to stay connected and leverage each other. And most importantly, it's always nice to take breaks and vacations, so that you feel relaxed, balance life, but make it a routine. It could be as simple as taking a break daily for doing different things. Like I keep telling some people who are currently not working and want to get back to work, for them the break is, I want to figure out a way to get back to work. And the family time is the work time. So that's the reverse order. But once you get into work, maybe it reverses. So it's all about perspectives, but enjoy those moments of break thoroughly. Right? So those are some of the behaviors. If you exhibit these behaviors, you will be able to create an impact on the success wheel and address your whom am I movements. I hope it made sense. Yes, of course, recharge, very importantly. Now, maybe the most important question, it may sound very simple as to the way I orated, but what kind of support do you think you would need if you need to make this happen? And let's hear some views on the chat window. What support do you think you would need to make all these things work for you? Revamping one's skills, family, brilliant. Career guidance, revamping one's skills. Okay, let me give maybe 10 more seconds to see a few more responses to come through. Wow, I think there is a barrage of response now. I need to quickly scroll through and see what all have come in. And I'm sure you would have covered everything which I would have wanted to. Career guidance, career counseling, pointers on current trends, professional mentor, opportunity, family support ourselves only. Yeah, you need to take ownership. Akansha, that's a good one. Sumanpreet, self-motivation, be motivated, determination, someone who can help pick few of many options like a mentor, believe in yourself and association. Excellent. And our family, friends, and networking. Cool, you've got everything which I had to share, and maybe that's what I had coming, nothing different. I don't know how many of you have seen the Star Wars, Luke Walker, Yoda, right? Yoda's role to make Luke Walker the Jedi Knight, right? Acted as a mentor and of course coach. So amazing. You've already called out, access to a mentor, and you can leverage the mentor in getting them to share their experiences and also be an influencer for you, right? And a coach would essentially help you find your own answers and hold you accountable to achieve results you committed for. Example, he can help you think through whom am I, articulating your passion, taking action steps, so on and so forth. By the way, the good news is there is already a mentor network in Jobs for Her portal, and you can also pick up people from LinkedIn and through your past connects so that you have enough support going. Yes, Sumanpreet, it is really important and it works. And that's one of the reasons why I was being a coachee over a period of time, realized how I can give back, and I chose coaching as one of the skill which will add to my portfolio, right? And of course, there are many more, right? So that's there. Let's look at the other one which someone already called out, is the leveraging the power of network. It could be social or physical network forums. Like with forums like LinkedIn, Facebook, other web forums, you can easily get in touch with people from the comforts of your home. But I would also strongly encourage you to go out, meet people in person. That experience is extremely different, but make targeted efforts to get into some forums like this in your area, like the mentor network, which is happening next week in Noida. I think Divya will share later where all it is happening, but these are good opportunities, right? And of course, you have the World Wide Web. Google it, you find everything. Someone already called out, but to me, this one is very critical, right? Leveraging influencers, and you all are already hooked on to it, right? Like Jobs for Her. They work, such organizations like work for you as conduit who facilitate projection of you with prospective employers, right? They also enable you via like the webinar which you're doing now, mentorship, so on and so forth. So you're not alone here. You should leverage all possible means to make things happen. And the most important, which most of you have already called out, is the support of your family. remember one thing, you need to inspire your family for them to get inspired by you to support you. That's what I've learned from my wife and 2 kids. Like, she does so much. At the same point of time, she becomes an inspiration for us to say, hey, you go ahead and you have your life, you do it. We'll try and support you. So it's important that it's a two-way street. Just expecting may not help, but giving and expecting is how this whole family system works. And I'm fortunate to be living through that experience, even in office where I have a lot of female colleagues, right, who have joined back work. So that's essentially the kind of support. And of course, there are those who could read through the chat. There were many others which were being shared in the group. So thanks for sharing and being participative, right? And everything has to come to an end. So that's what I had to share in the webinar today. I hope you found. But am I audible? Divya, it seems you muted me. Hello? 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 Oh, okay. Prasunna says I am audible. Thank you. So I got a notification, but yeah, remember to focus on, defining as we went through. So a quick summary. Remember to focus on defining whom am I, my success wheel, which is aspiration, ability, and opportunity. And most importantly, figure out ways to share and inspire others towards your story, right? So that's the whole element. And I've seen working for people and others whom I've coached and mentored so far in my life, and getting myself mentored and coached. So maybe with this, Divya, I'll hand it over to you for questions. And in the meanwhile, let me scan through the chat window and see if there are any more questions which I missed addressing. So over to you, Divya. Divya, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sriram, for such a nice session. I think you have covered most of the part which we women are looking for. So anyone has a query to ask him, please go ahead and ask, and take this opportunity to clarify your doubts. Anyone has a question to Sriram? Okay, that's great. Hello? Can anybody listen to me? Am I audible?
At least I can, Divya.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah, people are saying. Okay, someone is saying, sir, it becomes difficulty to get the opportunity. Yeah, I agree, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I thought maybe a little bit of structure in the way you prepare, present yourself would actually help, and that's the reason why I brought this frame. It's a frame, at least my personal experiences suggest me that has helped. So what is needed is a targeted, specific approach to get yourself going. While you do that, you need to also manage distractions, which at times is both positive and negative, as I keep calling, but to pave the way ahead. So if you can do the success wheel and whom am I, and be able to present yourself in different forums, I'm sure you will be able to get through. Okay, so
I hope.
Are there any questions from the group? Is PMP important to get into managerial roles? Personal view, Tanuja. So I was at some point of time in my career doing technology and did PMP. I don't think a PMP certification is extremely critical. However, if you want to be a project manager, you may want to bring in those skills and be able to. So in my organization here and my previous experience in IBM, I had a lot of project managers who were not PMP certified to begin with. But over a period of time, they got themselves certified because it gives you validated credentials. So it's worth the effort, but it is not a derailer in getting yourself employed, including manager roles. So my question, Kunjan asked, my question would be to recruiters like someone who is willing to change. Oh, sorry, I had to just scan through. Okay, like someone who is willing to change their professional
Kunjan,
careers.
Sriram, Kunjan Shah has asked a question. Uh, uh, would we do recruiters like someone who is willing to change their professional career?
Yeah, I think you can, and I can take my example, right? I've done, so I have 16 plus years of experience. I have done 7 to 8 roles where I've done technology, infrastructure, I've done learning and development, and now I'm a business partner. And through my career, I've also done sales and pre-sales. The answer to that question is yes. However, you need to plan for it. And at times, if the passion is not there, you may take a plunge, but you will very soon recede. And that's where disappointments come in. So if you follow the Whom Am I success wheel, I definitely believe you can. And time and again, a lot of people have done it. And I would strongly encourage people to do that as well, so that it makes you a well-rounded professional. So that's a personal view. The answer is definitely yes. I want to restart as a blogger and a writer. Definitely yes. Again, it calls for the skills and the exposure. So some of the pointers in the success wheel should be able to. And I would strongly urge you to find a mentor who is currently a blogger or a writer who can help you to navigate the nuances, because at times those become important, so that someone helps you with some bit of direction. Okay, what's the recruiter's opinion about the career changes? Prasanna, sorry, I mistook that question. I think it's highly contextual to organizations. I've seen generally that you get hired for the skill which you bring on to the table, which any company would need at a given point of time. But once you are inside the organization becomes extremely supportive to be able to navigate through different roles, because your credentials of being a good performer is leveraged to give you more opportunities. So general experience, you always get hired for the skill which you bring in, which the company can leverage. But once you are inside, you can navigate easily. So that's there. Will volunteering help? Definitely. Most of the role changes, Shilpi's question, most of the role changes which I've done in the past have not been fixated roles. I went, shared interest, did things for free, and got exposure and made them believe that I can do it, and I got the job. So maybe there is no harm in volunteering, but of course, ensure that it is leading to some effort.